Welcome to the Direct Line powered by 10Bet. I'm Nico Kritsiotis. On today's show, we've got our very special guest, Andrew Fortune. He's known as the Candy Man, and he brought home the bacon on Saturday afternoon at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth in the big one, the Grade 1 WSB Cape Town Met with See It Again. We'll be chatting to him about how it felt and how his career is currently going. Also on the show, we'll go into our 10Bet competition where the prize has ballooned this week to 1,500 Rand, courtesy of Murray Barlow not tipping a winner against me. Neither did I, by the way, our last Saturday afternoon down in Cape Town. And we'll get to talk about that a bit later on. In Nico's notebook as well, we'll be talking about the upcoming Highveld feature season. 4Racing have got some added incentives to attract people to bring their horses up to Joburg to run in the 5 days of championship racing, which starts this coming Saturday, the 7th of February. That's all on the Direct Line powered by 10Bet. Hopefully you'll stay with us during the show. So our very first guest on the show, in fact, our only guest on the show, because we've reserved it all for him, is the man that provided us with some great excitement on Saturday. Also, I think a lot of punters out there would have won a lot of money because he was tipping himself the whole way throughout the week leading up to the big event. Andrew, the Candy Man Fortune, joins us from Cape Town, where he is just waiting to ride a few more winners out at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth again later today. Andrew, it's a magnificent story. You and I go back a long way, but this was sort of written in the stars for you. And you must still be on cloud nine. I mean, you were so ecstatic after your win in the Met on Saturday.
Hi, Unica. Thanks for having me. I don't know about Cloud 9. I'm racing today. Cloud 9 is gone. Actually, after See It Again, my adrenaline dropped from like 120 to -10. I was kind of, after See It Again, I was kind of useless.
Yeah, flat.
You know what I mean? Yes, I had no more strength left. It was such a long build-up from the King's Plate to the Met to 1 million podcasts, interviews. It's just gone mad. The radio stations are phoning me. Listen to me, I'm grateful for it, don't get me wrong. But I actually took the day off yesterday because I was more sore yesterday than I was on Sunday. And I had to go and manipulate my body again. I feel good today, and I'm hoping for a very good day. I think I'm going to have a good day.
Well, I hope so too. Unfortunately, this program will go out after your rides on Wednesday, so I'm not going to be asking you what you like today. But do you remember when your first ride was in the Met? Because I looked it up. Do you remember?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's so long ago.
I'll tell you when it was. It was in 1987. You rode a horse, the Model Man won the race, and the horse you were on was a horse called Blairio. You ran 6. You only beaten about 3.5 lengths. Do you remember him?
Bert Abercrombie.
Was it? Yeah. So he ran 6th that day. Yeah.
Yeah. My boss trained him, Bert Aber.
So that's 39 years, Andrew, that it's taken to win this race. But 39 years later, you, as you said, You paid a lot of compliments on your faith. You actually, I didn't know you were that religious, but you said that God helped you through this.
I don't know if it's religious or spiritual. I think there's a difference. You can call it what you like. If you want to call it God, or you can call it what you like. But there's definitely something you pray to, and things definitely. It always feels like you calmer, you get more. It's like it helps. It helps, and I believe, and my story will tell it. I was so addicted when I was on drugs. I couldn't literally get off myself. I couldn't. I needed help to get off, and I was really, really bad. And I still get sad when I think about it. But that is just the journey. That was the struggle. You know what I mean? And I always say to people, don't avoid the struggle. Because the things happen in the struggle. You find the darkness, the loneliness, the stuff that you got to do on your own. Where you got to walk through fire, you come out a different person on the other side. Because in all of that, when I nearly think you get rinsed clean to come to the other side with no ego. You lose the bad friends. You realize who's not important in your life and who is important. You see, it's like a cleansing when you go through the struggle. You come out a different person. It's like you're being prepared. You're being prepared for something.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, in all that time, there must be, I don't want you to name them, but there must be people along the way throughout all those struggles that have been a major influence on you. And it's not your own inner self that's told you to come back and you hadn't completed your journey through horse racing in this last step, but there must be people along the way that have been major influences that have affected the way that you've had a lot of people along the way that have helped you through this, basically.
Yeah, I always said, I look at my story, I don't believe there's mistakes in life. I don't believe there's mistakes. I don't believe in that. I believe that you get guided somewhere and things happen because things happen, And I see people in my life helping, telling me, keep going, don't worry, we're here if you need anybody. Although I had to walk, I see God put everything together though, if you know what I'm trying to say. There was a couple of people that encouraged me. Besides my family, I mean, as much as I've suffered, they've gone through it with me. People forget about them, that they sacrifice as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's not just me. And before, I always say, if your dream don't scare you, then you're not dreaming big enough. The dream has got to scare you that, oh God, I don't think I can do it. It's got to be that big a dream. And that's how big my dream was. And I'm just glad it's come together. Not even leaving a legacy, just saying that, listen to me, anything is possible. Doesn't matter what you got. I always tell people, you think you got problems. Don't look after your health, then you've only got one problem.
Andrew, you've been riding with so much confidence leading up to the day. I mean, I take that ride, when we spoke to Justin Snaith a few weeks ago, that ride on Demanding Dave that you rode for Mike Stewart, where you took the gap late. I mean, and the confidence is just there and in full abundance. You're just extremely confident at the moment.
Yes, I am. But that gap, my personality won't allow me to pull out.
Yeah.
A lot of jockeys would have pulled out, but my personality doesn't allow me. It doesn't allow me. If there is a little bit of hope, I'll take it. You know what I mean? And that's what the situation called for, and that's what I've done.
Now, you have obviously assessed the situation when you were in Australia with Ashley. You assessed the situation long and hard, saying, right, I'm going to stage my comeback. I'm going to lose all this weight, and I'm going to come back. But one of the principal reasons I think you did that is because you saw yourself riding winners again, maybe, and one of the reasons may have been because of your contemporaries that were riding at the time. I think that would have been one of the motivating factors. Who else were you riding against?
No, that wasn't even my thought. I don't know. I wrote a bit of work and I could still feel that when I move my hands, horses still go. So I knew the kind of blessing was still there. Okay, the rest was just blind faith.
Right.
The rest was just, when I wrote work and I felt like, when I wrote for Annabelle, I must have been 75. But when I moved my hands, the horses went like I was 55.
Yeah.
I'm talking about in Australia now.
Yes, yeah.
And I knew.
I was racing with some people, first-time race goers on Saturday. Yeah. And they asked me at the start of the day, in fact, after you won on your first win in the second race, they said to me, please, we want some tips on the day. I said, listen, there's this guy, he's 58 years old, okay? He made a recent comeback in the last year. He says he's going to win these races today. Just put your money down on these races. And you know what? I've never seen happier people ever before traveling on a race course for the first time. They really, really enjoyed it. They said, Nico, we want to meet this guy. And I said, guys, he'll be inundated with people to meet, but they're new people, and they were absolutely mesmerized because they saw that you and the horse were one. They saw how much it meant to you. They saw your celebrations after the line. I mean, let's take Double Grand Slam as an example. You've always been bullish about this horse. On July Day, you tipped it to all that wanted to know. I watched the race very closely again last night, and it's just magnificent to see how you handled that race and how you won that race. I mean, it's just marvelous to see it, and for such good people that you're riding for too.
Brilliant people. I had to I explained it to Justin what I wanted to do, and it sounded kind of, I don't know if I explained. He said to me, he eventually gets, because I talk so much, he said, Andrew, just carry on. Because I said, you're probably not going to change my mind anyway. And this is the way I see it, how it's going to be run. I said, these people are they're going to jam each other up. If I was on any other thing, my first thought would have been, Andrew mustn't come in. That would have been my first thought as another job. So I thought, if I stay out for a while and I don't throw my cards early on the table to what I'm going to do, and once they jam each other up, I'm going to go around them. But at the same breath, if you don't, I know her very well. If I get her right to spit a bit out, then she's quite simple. And it worked out perfectly. So I stayed 4 wide, 5 wide, because I couldn't get in. If you look to my left, there was no chance and I couldn't stay where I was. I couldn't stay. So I just let her roll, and she just kind of knew what I wanted to do. And the minute she got next to the leader, she got even more relaxed. And then obviously on top of the straight, I tell you, she's just phenomenal, because she had every reason to get beat, but she never, you know. And don't worry about, don't worry about that filly running at me the last 50. She was telling me this filly's coming, this filly's coming. That's why I don't really have to eat her. I think I gave her 2 backhanders just to tell her, okay, keep her off. But it's more like reminders instead of a smack. So, but she's phenomenal. She is. She's a phenomenal miler.
And the big race, I mean, you even got Justin Snaith to shed a tear or two with your win. I mean, even Justin Snaith became emotional with old See It Again story and the fact that you won, because here was a horse that effectively was dead and buried. People had written him off several times, saying this horse is finished, he can never come back. And he went down to Cape Town. He was meant to come to Joburg for the Summer Cup, if we remember correctly. That went pear-shaped.
Yeah.
Stayed down in Cape Town. But you were ultra confident going into the race. I mean, I just looked at the times as well, the sectional times of See It Again in the race. It was just everything was planned by you, worked out to a T.
Perfectly. Well, that's why the plan was, I went to Scottsville the Sunday because I could still squeeze a meeting in. And the only reason I squeezed that meeting in was to keep my fitness and I rode with 2 T-shirts that day. I lost 2 kilos in 3 races. But that was to make myself just tougher for Med Day. It was all a prep just for Med Day. Everything was a prep for Med Day. Otherwise, if I never had that meeting, I wouldn't have ridden for 10 days. And I felt I could have been a bit rusty. You know, 10 days is a long time not to ride in a race. So I went, people said, what are you doing at Scottsville? I just said to myself, like, it's not even about riding winners. It's about just going there, traveling 4 hours to get there, 4 hours back, and just to get that race riding under my belt. And then obviously the week I spent with Justin. But this was, he started talking to me. As I got to know him and spend so much time on him, he started, when I spoke to him, like, hello, boy, how are you, boy? He would, he started to get know my voice, and I loved him all the time. And it just, his body language was so good. And it just got better and better. It got better after the first mile, then after the King's Plate. The relationship between him and me just got so good that he literally knew me. And the Friday or the Thursday when I gave him his final work, it was just, I said to Justin, I don't care what you bring. I don't care what you bring. This cannot lose. It cannot lose. But I said that for all of them. The No to Sell, you can ask Justin, the double Grand Slam. I said these horses are just flying.
I mean, the sprinter the sprinter for the Basses.
Well, I galloped him. And I just thought, I alwayou believe this world is about generations, and it was time for a up-and-coming 3-year-old to like, you know what I mean? And he was the perfect horse. And it looked like the right race, although it looked competitive. I didn't think so.
Yeah. And the first person to congratulate you after Cedar Gainswind was your son, who ran second on legal counsel. As you were celebrating, he sort of gave you a tap after the line to say, Pops, you've done it. Congratulations. I mean, that must be heartwarming to have your son riding in the race where he's there, he's witnessing it firsthand, right behind you.
Yeah. Yeah, listen to me, that was beautiful. It was more beautiful that I beat him. Don't get that wrong. Just remember, if he beat me, I never would have heard the end of it.
Yes, absolutely.
I always tell him, the teacher appears when the student is ready. Never forget that. That's when the teacher appears, when the student is ready.
And your other son, was your other son, was Sean there? Was he there on the day?
No, Sean is only 13, so it's you've got to be 18 and over to come to the match. My other son was there, Keegan. The one that plays cricket, yeah.
Okay.
He took his cricket, he said to me, Dad, if you win the Met and I'm playing cricket, I'll never forgive myself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna binge my cricket match, and I think you're gonna have a fun. I said, boy, you're gonna miss. You got to come. You got to come because your dad's gonna chop them up today.
Final question, and I know this is going to be a tough question for you, but if you had to relive your life over again, your 58 years that you've been on this earth, I know there's been downs, ups and downs, but if you had to relive it again, would you change anything?
No ways. I've spent a couple of nights in different jails. I've got 5 kids from 4 different women. Oh, no, man. Jeepers, I snorted more cocaine than for a lifetime. You know what I mean? No, and now I ended up here. I'm in the boardroom of the Jockey Club speaking to you.
Okay, that's good. Because they slapped
I wasn't allowed in here a year ago.
They sort of slapped you with a bit of a fine as well. But I read in black and white. They read the situation. It's not meant to be swearing on the day, but it was the emotion. I thought it was fantastic. But they obviously also saw the human side to it.
Nico, I'm an imperfect being, and there's certain things of me that I'm not going to change. Do you know what I mean? Yes, I'm very spiritual at the moment, but I'm still imperfect. You read me about the news, you read me about me in a 10 days' time, what shit I've caused again. That part you're not going to change.
Yeah.
That is me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If I think you're I'm going to tell you you're
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've gone spiritual in my life. That doesn't mean I'm an angel. Very far from it. Very far from it.
Well, we've got the full Andrew Fortune, the full Candyman that we've spoken to over the last 10 or 15 minutes. It's been a great pleasure, as always. We've been together a long time.
Thank you,
I remember the days when you were, I don't know how much you weighed when we were into Kimberley, when we used to arrive early in the morning. You said, I've got to lose weight right now, here and now. But all those days, it was all worth it in the long run, Andrew. And it's so great. I mean, I gave you a hug on the day because I just thought that this is the right time. You said it was the right time. It's so wonderful to see you in this position. And I just wish you many more years of happiness and luck in the saddle, Andrew.
Thank you, Nico. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's competition time here on the Direct Line powered by 10Bet. And what you have to do is to send in your name and your mobile number to become a contestant on the show. You have to email it through to us. Our email address is thedirectlinesa sa1word@gmail.com. That's the direct line, sa1word@gmail.com. And all you have to do is put your name and your mobile number, and hopefully you'll go into the draw and hopefully come out as a winner. Now, last week, Murray Barlow was our contestant. He tipped on 3 races. I tipped on 3 races at the Kenilworth meeting, the big Met meeting down in Cape Town. He got 1 second, I think, and unfortunately, none of us tipped any winners. So the score was 0-0 at the end in terms of winners. You have to out-tip me in terms of number of winners, and he didn't manage to do so. So that now is paroled onto this week, and we've added another 500 Rand. So 1,500 Rand is the prize for this week's competition winner. Hopefully, it'll be you out there. And we'll then choose today, we'll choose the Saturday meeting at Turffontein, because that's the big meeting on the weekend. So that is the meeting that we're going to go for. Right, let's go to our bag and let us find out who we're going to choose. This is the 10-bet bag. It's full of entries, and let's see who our winner is going to be. Our winner today is Abdullah Raycliffe. Well done to you, Abdullah. We'll be in contact with you soon to tell you that you have won and how to finalize your competition entry. Now, we're going to empty all those out, because the next question is, which races will we be tipping on? Abdullah will be tipping on either the odds or even numbers, and I'll be tipping on the opposite. So we choose the last 6 races of the day. There are 9 races at Turffontein on Saturday. So the last 3 odd race numbers will go to one person, and the last 3 even numbers will go to another person. Let's find out what Abdullah is going to tip over here as we go through to the answer, and it is evens for Abdullah. It is even numbered races for Abdullah. So Abdullah, you'll be tipping on races 4, 6, and 8. And Nico, yours truly, will be tipping on races 5, 7, and 9. Remember that you have to tip the most number of winners. If you come up equal, then that prize will be paroled, which means next week it'll be 2,000 Rand. At the moment, you can win 1,500 Rand. Abdullah has got the even numbers, races numbers 4, 6, and 8, and I will take races 5, 7, and 9. And we'll be announcing those tips early on Saturday morning to make sure that you can follow it during the course of the day. That's our competition here on the Direct Line. Well, we end off the show with Nico's notebook, and on today's notebook, I've taken note of what happened on Monday. 4 Racing releasing a press release with regards to incentives for the upcoming feature Highveld season, the autumn season, and it reads as follows. 4 Racing has announced a comprehensive raiding trainer incentive program to encourage participation from visiting trainers and owners across the Highveld feature race season. The incentive program runs from Gauteng Guineas Day, which takes place at Turffontein this coming Saturday, the 7th of February, and culminates with the championships finale on Saturday, the 25th of April. The following 4 days are recognized as the showpiece days: Guineas Day, 7th of February, Classic Day, 7th of March, Champions Day, 4th of April, and the championships finale on the 25th of April. For races on non-showpiece meetings conducted from Guineas Day through to the championship finale, the following incentives apply to winning raiders: 10,000 Rand to the trainer and 10,000 Rand to the owner. And for the designated showpiece race meetings, the connections of winning raiders of races worth less than 500,000 Rand will be eligible for 50,000 Rand to the trainer and 50,000 Rand to the owner. For events worth more than the 500,000 Rand on showpiece race days, an incentive of 50,000 Rand will apply to the winning trainer only. In addition to the above incentives, transport subsidies will be available subject to terms and conditions. Subsidies will apply to runners competing in Grade 1 through to listed races. These will be assessed on a province-by-province and case-by-case basis. Final determinations will be made at the time of entries. And finally, all raiding trainers will also have the option of complimentary rental accommodation at selected venues, subject to availability, should they elect to base themselves locally for the season through to the championship finale. Additional incentives for owners and trainers are in discussion at the moment and will be released in due course. Well, we did speak to trainer Justin Snaith about coming up to the Highveld, and he did mention to us that he'd be bringing horses up for the feature races. They might even be based here, or some might be based in Durban and then just travel up for the race. But these are some wonderful incentives that 4Racing has come up with for the feature season, which starts this coming Saturday. And looking forward to seeing all those big horses in action during the next few months here up on the Highveld. That's it for another Direct Line powered by 10Bet. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. All the best to Andrew Fortune. Thanks to him for giving up of his time this morning, and all the best to our competition winner. May he try and snatch that 1,500 Rand worth of 10Bet vouchers away from us during the course of the weekend. We'll see you again next week on the Direct Line powered by 10Bet.